Hello, sir. My name is Samit Yadav. Me and my teammate Ankit Lohia, Abdullah Asmani, and Yash Singh Thakur made this project in which we build a multi-tier task tracker. So we build a app application which we call task tracker app using the Node.js and the front end. For front end, we have used HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We have completed this project in 6 phases. Like first one is minikube setup, second one is the Docker images, third one is deployment of pods, fourth one is configuration of IPs. Fifth one is to scale the app. We have done the scaling and the rolling of the application board. The sixth one is documentation and a report. We also integrate all the four bonus point or tasks in this project. So now I'm going to explain the architecture of our project. The In this application, the user will use our app using the browser. The user request will go through the front end part API, then it will go through the load balancing part, load balancer, and reach one of the backend pod. Like backend service is running in the backend pod, so it will reach one of the backend pod. This is the architecture of our project, in which we have used just two microservices. First one is the front end, and the second one is backend. So these are the component details like Nginx services, Nginx deployment, backend service. This is a backend service, and the backend deployment, config map for configuration, and the secret will contain the all the DB credential and the things which we don't want to expose to the outer world. Ingress will work like a load balancer, and it will help to expose our app to the outer world. It will help in routing also. So we also include the Jenkins in our project. It will automate the all the phases of our project, in which we are building, loading the minikube, configuration setup, deployment of backend and front end, applying ingress, and verifying the deployment. So CI/CD pipeline will do this. Now we will show the demo of our project, sir. Now, sir, I want to show the all code files of this project. Now you can see that the backend folder is containing all the backend related services and files. In backend, there is a app.js in which all the APIs of our project is written, connecting to the database. We are using just a JSON file to storing the data. Docker file is Docker file is related to the backend service. And then package.json file contain the all the dependencies and the libraries and their version of our backend. Backend.deployment YMLs. These YMLs files are for Kubernetes setup. Config.yml contain all the configurations related to our project, and this deploy.sh is a demo script of our project. Like we want to show the demo, so we build a file in which all the commands are written so that it will be easy for us to show the demo. The outer Docker file is for the front end, and index.html is the front end service of our project. So this is the file which we are going to deploy in the front end. Jenkins file related are contain all the configuration related to the Jenkins. This is the secret.yml which we are talking about in the previous phase. Like this file contain all the like username of the uh, database, password of the database. So is it contain all the things which we don't want to expose to the outer world. And this is the readme of our project. So YML files are related to the Kubernetes, and backend folder is for backend services, and this HTML is for front end service. Now, sir, Abdullah will show the demo of our project.
So for this, we have implemented the project in phases. So we will start with the first phase, which is the environment setup. So we will run the script for our setup. So we will start the setup for phase 1. Here we'll run Docker PS, which will show us all the Docker images that are currently running on the system. Then we will start the minikube setup.
The minikube start will start the minikube cluster. Minikube is a command line tools for Kubernetes. So minikube will start a cluster with the single node in which the different pods will run with the drive, and we are configure it with the driver Docker. Now kubectl is a internal dependency of minikube, so we have to use it to run the Kubernetes commands. It is a command line tool of Kubernetes. So get node will show all the nodes. So it is showing that the control plane is already initialized. Now it is a complete phase one. So this is the starting of the phase two the containerization of the application. So we have built three images. The first one, version one, and the second one will build when we click enter. So Abdullah, can you please enter? Those the second image is building. So we have completed this project in different phases. So these are the images for that part. The front end images version 2 is built. The third version
It
of
also
the
demonstrates rolling updates for our project front end.
now it is building the backend images. It will show the all the Docker images we have built till now, like two backend services and the three front end services images. We have just built the images till now. Now we have to load these images in minikube local registry. So now these are the steps to loading the images of front end and backend services into the local minikube registry. It will take some time because it is loading the images into minikube registry. The phase 2 is completed now, in which we have built all the images and loaded into the minikube registry. Now we have to start with phase 3. Now we have to apply all the configuration. This command kubectl apply.fm will initialize all the port, all the services which we have configured into the different files which I already shown you. Like it is applying the configurations of port.yml, secret.yml configuration file, apply backend deployment with those replicas, and here you can see the internal port is not exposed till now. Backend service is not exposed till now because we have to use the ingest to expose this service. And you can see that the front end service is already exposed to this port. Like internal port is 80, which is written in the configuration file, and the outer port it is exposed to on this port to the outer world. Now cube kubectl get ports will show all the ports running till now. Like you can see that the backend deployment, backend services, and the front end services. It is initializing the ports right now. Cubes. Now you can see that already the deployment will created in kubectl. There are the different things like ports, deployment services. We have to configure all of these things. So backend deployment is already configured, and the nginx deployment also. So we have, now this is showing the kubectl get services, all the services running till now. Like first one is a Kubernetes, the second is nginx service, and the third one is the backend service, and these are the cluster IPs, and these are the ports which we are which on which the our services are running. Like you can see here that there is a map, here the 3000 port is not mapped to the outer port, means the backend service is not exposed to the outer world. So, same with the Kubernetes, but in the front end service you can see that 80 there is a mapping between the 80 port and the this port, because the front end services is already exposed to the outer world, because we export the backend service in the bonus point, in the bonus stars. So right now we just only expose the front end service. These are the configuration, get configuration, and the get secret. Like there, you can see that there are two data which we have written, like database username and the database password. Dot ingress, ingress, as I already told you, that is used to expose the application to the outer world, and these are the ingress services which we already run. Till now, the phase 3 is completed and all the Kubernetes resources are already deployed. So now you can see this command is for describing the all the services which are running. Like you can see the target, this port, and these services are they are the endpoints written here. This command is explaining all the services. Backend service, upper one is for Nginx services, which we are using as a front-end services, and you can clearly see that it is exposed to the outer port, like 30,080. So these are the endpoints, and the internal target port is 80. Means the front, when we hit the port on our browser on this port, then it will internally hit the 80, port number 80. Now this is related to the backend services. It is explaining the backend service. Now it is telling that we have to open this URL to see the service, Nginx service. Now it is clearly saying that the front-end service is running on this URL. So we have to go to the browser to see the application. Now you can see that it is running on this port. Hit the, now this is for just we are scaling, the fifth page is for scaling part. Now we have created the replicas of the front-end service and also the backend service. Like it is showing that get ports means the five new ports are created for the front-end service, and get ports will show the information related to that. And we also scaling the backend service also, so it is showing that five front end and three backend and one standalone, means for the Kubernetes it is running. Total nine ports are running. Get deployment means you can see that there are three deployment for backend and the five deployment for the front end. Now we have to roll back also, like when this is the part in which we have to explain the scaling of our application. Like if we are if our number of the user are increasing, then we have to scale the application. These parts, Kubernetes, we are using Kubernetes because of that part also, and for load balancing means we use Kubernetes for scaling of our application. It will automatically scale our application. So we now right now we are just configure it manually. We can write a script for that also. So that is for scaling and rolling back of the application when the load increase and then decrease. So these commands are related to the same roll out and for the scaling part. Hit the enter. It's just showing the history. All the images are deleted, right? It is rolling out all the backend deployment, and these are the step for just showing the rollback of our application ports which we have created to scale the application. Front end, now you can see that the front end is rollback to the previous version, means in which we are running just the one service of the front end. Now you can see that one replica of are still pending, and 4 out of 5 replicas are already rolled out. The fifth phase is just for scaling, and then first scaling, then roll out the all of the scaling part. That's it. It's just showing the secrets. These steps are for bonus task. So, sir, these are the four bonus tasks which we have which is mentioned in the project file. So, first one is config map. The second is secret, making a secret.yml file, and the third one is configuration of ingress, and then the fourth one is multi-tier application in which which we are using two services. So now backend is also working for our application. Now the last part is CI/CD pipeline. So now you can see that in the Jenkins files all the 8 steps are written, which like building Docker image building, backend image building for Docker image for backend, loading image into minikube, configuration, backend deployment, front-end deployment, apply in ingress, and verified deployment. So I will show you in the Jenkins server how this is working. Sir, now we want to show the Jenkins console for our pipeline. So now you can see we already built two times. So I want to show you the latest one. Like we have to start the build. Now in some time you will see that there will be a third build also. Now you can see the uh, latest build with the number 3, and in console, this console, like for this you can see in the console that all the 8 steps are working fine, like from building the application, for building the docker images, loading into docker images into minikube, backend deployment, front end deployment, all the 8 steps are working absolutely fine. And at the end you can see that the front end is deployed to the Kubernetes, and at the end all the 8 stages are working fine. That's it from our side, sir.